I'm Lisa Wilson. I'm the founder and director of the Raw Food Institute. I work at National Integrative Health Associate, been a certified health, nutrition, and wellness counselor there for many, many, many years. And so I work with a lot of integrative practitioners. And in Washington, D.C., there's a big movement there called the Weston A. Price movement, which I have great respect for Sally Fallon for getting us into food without a barcode. However, when I started working with a lot of the clients that the doctors would hand to me at National Integrative Health Associates, and I started introducing them to living foods and raw foods without really telling what I was doing at first, they came to me and said, "What you doing?" Because people started getting better fast. So this is something that no matter what you're doing, you can take your health into your own hands. You can do this at home. You can work with doctors, and I like to work with the doctors, and I like to have good communication between myself and the practitioners. So I launched the Raw Food Institute, where people literally come in, they check in for a 1-week period of time, and they do detoxification. We teach them how to grow their own wheatgrass, how to sprout their own sprouts, because a lot of people look at me, if you saw my house and you saw my sunroom, you might think that I grew up in a garden. But I had to learn this stuff. The truth is, I'm the daughter of two smokers that own Dairy Queens. And if I can do this, if I'm the person with the cystic acne and horribly overweight and the thyroid problems, anybody can do this. So why are you here today? I want you to really consider what made you come to this today? What was it that kind of tapped you on the shoulder, and why is it that you're here today? Inevitably, when I speak, I do get questions about what is the Raw Food Institute and how they can connect with us. So you can talk to my brother Pollard, and I are here. We'll be answering questions throughout the weekend. And I'm going to save 1 or 2 minutes at the end to tell you a little bit more about that too. I am going to ask you today to listen as if your life depends on it, because it does. This is one of the most important classes that I teach, along with digestive wellness. Toxicity levels are at an all-time high. We can't escape it. It's in the food, it's in the water, it's in the air that we breathe. And when you're living, here's the thing about this. When you're living with a compromised immune system and you've got fear going on inside your body, it's very difficult to live the life that you are put on this earth to live. And this, for me, ultimately is what it's all about. Because it's really not about the broccoli, right? It's about every single person in this room having a destiny and being able to live the life that they're supposed to live. And what if every single person knew that you were beautiful, that you were loved, and that you had a greater purpose? We're just going to briefly go through how we got into this pickle in the first place. What's the difference between this hamburger and that hamburger? Anybody know? That's right. This hamburger is 6 years old. This food does not break down, if you can call it food. Generally, we don't like to call this food. We live in one of the most overfed, undernourished countries now in the world. For the first time in American history, we are now expected to live longer lives than our children. For the first time, life expectancy has gone the other direction. 70% of Americans are now overweight or obese, and this comes with a variety of health challenges, including heart disease, cancer, autoimmune diseases. And this is what gets to me, because I have 3 little cutie patooties. And I work with sick kids all the time. They come into my house. And my kids, I have to admit to you, are really good because they see the sick kids come in, because I have a home office too. I don't really do that at home anymore. I focus on the Raw Food Institute. But for years, they've seen the sick kids come through the house, and the sick kids leave. And they go to the pool, and they see what the sick kids are eating. They've got, a bag of chips in one hand and a soda in the other. And we are now facing what I call Generation Sick. This is what we are raising. We have Generation X, we have Generation Y, and now we have Generation Sick. I'm going to be quiet for about 20 seconds. We're going to track obesity. This summer I'll have my 25-year class reunion coming up. When I was in high school 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we really didn't see obesity. And I'm going to track obesity, but keep in mind that the diseases go hand in hand with this. I could be putting up diabetes and it would look almost the same. So we're just going to kind of silently watch this before our eyes, starting in 1985. I'm sorry, this says less than 10%, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, 25 to 29, and over 30% obesity. Pretty shocking when you watch it, huh? So what is the number one food bringing us down? Sugar. It's sugar. About 100 years ago, the average American ate about 10 pounds of sugar per person each year. Does anybody know how many pounds of sugar the average American ate last year? More than 80. Last year, the average American ate 170 pounds of sugar per person. And here's my question when I'm talking about these things. When did this salad become weird and this become normal? And when were we able to convince an entire society that this is okay? Right? So we're going to move now to the pillars of healing, because that's what we came to talk about today. Juicing, raw and living foods, cultured foods or fermented foods, whole food supplements. You know, when I work with people from all around the world, and we talk about cultured foods, they get so excited because this is something that they used to do. It's been said that the refrigerator is one of the worst inventions ever created because we've completely abandoned this healthy way of preserving food. And it is so critically important for our digestive wellness, for healing the gut, for healing the candida, for healing the immune system. So why juice? Well, here's the thing. We are 70% fluid, so we need to continuously be hydrating with beverages. When I'm talking about juices right here, we're talking about green juices, of course. They are medicinally something that's difficult for us to measure. There's not a pill, a salad, there's nothing that can come close to a medicinal raw green juice. One of the biggest mistakes I see as people move toward a raw food diet is bringing in too many sweets and too many dehydrated foods and nuts. We really need to stick to the juicy things. So this talk today is all about you. I want to give you lots of information so you can go home and start incorporating it into your life. I've actually been talking to some of you here today, and I know a lot of you are juicing already. You've got wheatgrass juicers. Show of hands, how many people already juice? Look at that. Fantastic. Fantastic. My inspiration was Linda Zeller. I'm from a small town called Black Duck, Minnesota. It's about 600 people in northern Minnesota. Sits between 3 Native American Indian reservations. And Linda was a teacher in the town. And when I was in my 20s, she was I didn't really know her, but I knew of her, and I followed her story through my little sister. She was diagnosed with colon cancer and ovarian cancer both. She did go to Mexico. She did go all raw, and she did juice therapy. And 19 years later, she's a dear friend of mine. We speak together every summer. She still continues to be cancer-free today. And if you ask Linda, a question about her lifestyle, because she travels, she's an educator, she would not say to you, someday I hope to get there, someday I hope to get rid of the sugar, someday. She says that everything that you put in your mouth is contributing toward life or towards death.